Hello.
All right. How you doing?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. Like I said to you, we're on a Pokemon craze at the moment, aren't we?
We are, mate. It's getting a bit
Addictive.
addictive now.
I've lost
Like
the house.
crack.
Oh. Without going too deep into the cards, Pokemon's an anime, isn't it?
Yes, mate. Pokemon is indeed an anime. Probably the first anime I watched, I think.
And this episode is all about anime. So,
Anime. What do you class as anime?
made in Japan.
Like I said, a Japanese cartoon.
Yeah, I mean it is that. Isn't
Okay. Yeah. That's just the thing. It's like, because obviously we grew up watching a lot of cartoons.
I wouldn't say
But, like,
Dexter's Laboratory is an anime.
This is it. I wouldn't count Ed, Ed and Eddie as bloody anime.
No, I mean that's just an excuse. Like, I mean, anime for me is like has a very strong link to Japan. So,
Yeah.
Pocket Monsters, Pokemon.
Pokemon.
But they go to what I find interesting. They go to like the nth degree. There's anime which I like, and then there's anime which I probably would like, but don't want to watch it because some of the they have a boundary. We have boundaries over here. They don't tend to have a boundary of what they draw up over there.
Or like Gantz.
Yeah, for example, and
Things involving tentacles, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, there is some interesting, there's some adventurous anime out there for sure.
that's what I mean. So I'm going out there for 3 weeks next year, just to wander around basically, and collect all the Pokemon. Sorry, not collect Pokemon cards, but at least explore the cultures and stuff. And I've heard it's quite loose over there in terms of what you can buy and stuff. It's like there's none of this filtering out. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go into a shop and see certain things, where in here, in Japan, you can. It's like, there's all very... I mean, they're vending machines full of, like, all sorts, don't they?
You're going there in January?
No, next year for 3 weeks.
What, you going to Japan?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
How did I not know about this? Bloody hell.
I think... I'm sure I've mentioned
No.
it. Have I not? Oh, okay.
I had no clue.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm going out there for 3 weeks next year. Just going to bulk up all my holiday from work, and I'm just going to spend it basically going around Japan for a year, for a month even.
Basically, next year for 1 month, I'm going to spend a year going around Japan. Oh, that's my dream to go there. It's my dream place.
Well, this is the thing. So it's one of my dream places too, and I know we've spoke about it before and stuff. And I've just said to myself, if I don't do it now, I probably won't be able to go out there, because obviously I want to start like families and stuff. So I can't see myself doing it within the next 10 years if I don't do it early. Does that make sense? Because
yeah, no, I get that.
and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, life gets in the way. It's not for everyone, whatever. But I want to try and hit off as many of these. You can go to Chernobyl with your kid, put it that way. like I mean, like,
Come on, Timmy.
yeah. So I said to myself, spend 3 weeks up and down the country. I'll probably end. I want to fly to Okinawa as well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna end up there and just fly back from Tokyo probably.
Bloody hell, mate, that'd be incredible. That's my absolute dream place. Trying to convince Vanessa to go, but don't think it's going to happen.
She's not a fan of Japan or Asia.
I think she just said it's not high up on her list. But the problem is, somewhere like that, you need to go for quite a while as well. It's not like you can do like
That's the
3
thing.
days there.
Nah, it's a 12-hour flight, so it's a long time.
That's quality,
and you
mate.
need, yeah.
So anyway, you were saying in the spirit of Japan then?
Yeah. So we're going to dedicate this episode to anime. And I wouldn't say it's a niche thing, because there are thousands upon thousands of people who love anime, me included.
They are.
And I was going to ask, like, what actually got you into it then? Because I don't know whether we really knew each other when we were I think we sort of dipped and dabbed around Naruto at the time, and when we first spoke about it. So what got you into it?
So I think the same thing as most kids our age. I think it was probably Pokemon, to be honest. Watching Pokemon on like a weekday, that kind of got me into the whole Japanese cartoon thing. And then it ran from there. So it's things like Beyblade, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! I always liked cartoons, so I always watched Cartoon Network. But like we said, I wouldn't really class those as anime. So yeah, things like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade. When I got a bit older, I watched Naruto, like the actual just plain Naruto. I watched that.
Yeah.
I never carried it on and watched Shippuden. I never watched that. I saw some of it. I just kind of dropped it after Naruto. I want to go back and watch it, but it's just...
That's a long fucking slog.
It scares me, yeah, because there's so much to watch.
It's never really been that accessible either. Like, you can't, like...
No, it's not.
It's really annoying. Like, there's fucking hours and hours of content. It's not even, like, really that easy to get hold of. You have to go through his backdoor websites to get, like, an anime live stream from fucking... It just never really works out.
I thought it was on Crunchyroll, but it's not.
Naruto, I thought was quite good, though. Like...
Naruto, it was good back in the day, yeah.
There was just
definitely.
so much filler. So much filler.
Yeah, there was a lot of filler. I mean, I'm not going to lie though, I really enjoyed Naruto, so I'm not really sure why I didn't go ahead and watch like all of Shippuden. I just kind of gave up with it. How about you then? What was like the first anime?
I think, funny enough, so like I didn't really know what anime was for a while.
Of course, yeah.
And then,
like, you didn't realise what it is when you're watching it, I guess, as a kid.
Yeah, and I was around my nan's, and my nan always used to stick the cartoons on for the kids and stuff, and me and brother would watch it, soak it all up, and for like, I think it was like 20 minutes, we were sitting on the sofa, and I had no idea what was on TV. I do now. It was Dragon Ball Z. It was on, I don't know what, I think it was Cartoon Network. I think it was on, it might have been Toonami, was it?
Yeah, it was on Toonami. I think some of it was on Cartoon Network as well.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Frieza, the character Frieza, and they were on Namek and stuff flying around, and I think it just sort of, I really wanted to watch it after that. It was really bizarre. It was like one of the few cartoons I was like, what's that? And I later had to obviously buy the DVDs and stuff, and but that really got me into it, and I think it just sort of went from there. And when I was about 10 or 11, I got lent DVDs. And I subsequently lent them to you, which was like Gungrave.
Oh yeah, Gungrave was really good.
And I
think that was around when we just first started talking properly. I think we realised we both liked anime, and then you mentioned it. You're like, you've got to watch this.
I think I had that for ages. I've had that DVD since I was a kid. That was one of the weird things about that. Like, I haven't ever seen it, ever, like advertised anywhere. Like,
no, I wouldn't say it's a particularly mainstream one.
It's really old as well.
It's not as well known as like Death Note or something like that.
No, but I'll tell you now, Gungrave is like, I think it was made in like the early 90s.
Yeah, it's really good. It's quite adult as well, isn't it? Not like
proper,
not like porno, but the themes is quite dark.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of obviously like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like there's not like a child theme in it at all, is there ever?
No, it's very dark.
It's made for
it's a
adults.
very dark anime. Yeah, well, this is what I quite like about anime as well. Is it surprises people? So like, I might have something on TV, and Vanessa will be like, what is this kids program you're watching? And all of a sudden, some bloke just gets his teeth like punched out, and she's like, "Oh my god!" It's like there's things you can do in a cartoon that you can't do easily in like a live action film.
Nah,
that's what I quite like as well, because essentially people are drawing this, aren't they? So you can draw it if you like.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have like a massive special effects budget to bring it to life. Obviously, I know work goes into it, but I think that's what I quite like about anime is like anything's possible. It sounds silly, but
no, you're right.
And some of these things are so extreme as well. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is about fucking bits of cardboard, but some of the animations in that are quality. Like with Dark Magician coming out into the battlefield and that, it's like, this is a bit of cardboard. Let's not forget that.
I actually think they'll make them one day. Those holographic battles.
Yeah,
I honestly think they will.
Probably.
I think they will do. Fucking hell, that'd be quality.
But yeah, mate, there's some brilliant animes out there.
What's your favourite then?
I genuinely don't think I can choose one single favourite. I've got 5 that are my top 5.
I got
not like a rank number 1, not like that, but just like I've got like my favourite animes that come to mind. So first of all is one that I watched at the start of this year, and I told you about it. It's called Kengan Ashura.
No Shura.
And I think I was bored just watching Netflix, and I was like, oh, what's this? It looked like some kind of shit Street Fighter rip-off. I started watching it, and I just it's so simple. It's basically just about a fighting tournament. But I just thought the story and the writing and the animation, I just thought it was really cool, easy, fun anime to watch. And I really like the whole thing with like when he finally discovers like his Nico style right at the end of the second series, and it's just got some really cool fight scenes. If you just want to watch people beat the shit out of each other for 20 minutes, it's just a really fun thing to watch.
I got into it quite quick. I was just so annoyed that it was so short. I was like, "Fuck! Like, where's the other episodes?" You know,
it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, "Where?" I want to get to the
really
tournament.
Cool fights.
Yeah.
It's literally like Soul Calibur the anime. It's just two people beating the shit out of each other.
Now that
for 20 minutes.
I'd watch that.
Soul Calibur anime. Yeah, I'm surprised there's nothing like that. Unless there is, and we're being complete dumbasses.
Soul Calibur the anime. Fuck, that would be good.
That would be cool. But yeah, King and Ashura. Another one from Netflix is one I know we both like again. It's Castlevania.
That is quality.
Yeah, it's really good.
Absolutely love that.
It's really, really decent, especially the latest series. There's some really, really cool scenes in that. But it's absolutely brutal as well, which is what I really, really like. This is what I was talking about, like pushing the extremities with anime. Like some of the gore in the battle scenes in the last scene of Castlevania, literally I was like, like it's brilliant. It's just the story is brilliant, but it's just a really fun anime to watch.
Season 2, where Dracula fights his son.
And
that's
like, brilliant.
They're bursting through walls, and he beats the shit out of his son. It's like, oh my god! He literally, he's like pummeling his face, and he's like kicking. It's like, oh my god!
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really, really brilliant. It's such a well-made anime. Like there wasn't a boring episode at all.
They really work hard on that, I think.
Yeah, you can tell. It definitely shows. So that was a really pleasant surprise as well.
These things are so popular as well. They are like really popular.
They are. They've got a pretty big following.
The problem is I binge watch them in a day. I'm like, fuck. like 2 years later, wait for another one.
So I done that. I had a day last week where I sat and I watched the whole first series of One Punch Man over like 3 hours.
Ah, it's quality.
Supposed to be working, but just watch 3 hours of a ball bloke punching people. Bringing me on to my third favourite is One Punch Man. I just think so. It's rare that animes have got like a heavy emphasis on comedy.
Yeah,
but there's stuff in One Punch Man that just makes me laugh out loud, and it's just so funny.
Yeah, they've sort of started something off there.
They've done a really good job. Done a really, really good job with that. It's just some of these one-liners, and it's just like the whole thing around like, when he's telling people about his secret technique, like how he becomes so strong. And you think it's going to be like some massive epic training regime. It's just literally it's like 100 push-ups, 10k run. It's just like it's just a really funny anime. And some of the fighting scenes in that are brilliant as well, like proper epic.
Well, yeah, I mean the last few episodes of that One Punch Man are like proper insane. It's like if you've got epilepsy and you don't get bright lights, don't watch that. It's like fucking hell.
It's just
again, it's easy watch.
That's just it. It's just so easy to follow, well made. It's just enjoyable.
Yeah.
And the other two, so one of them we spoke about briefly before was Gungrave. So there's a few reasons for that. I think the story is incredible when Harry shoots Brandon, and obviously the whole Brandon. But that bit is just everything building up to that, and then everything that happens after. It's just such a good story. And also it means quite a lot to me because, we grew up with that in college, and it's one of the first animes that I really, really got into.
Yeah, I did as well. Like, without going like proper into it, I honestly think it's that won't ever leave me, that feeling. The first time I watched that, because like it was just really like shocking to me, because like obviously the whole way through they've grown up in the slums and stuff. They're best mates. They get up in the ranks of the mafia together. One is a hitman and one more is like a financial sort of like expert and stuff, and in fine arts and stuff. And then it's sort of like I said, you see them get their way to the top. They go through some shit. They sort of like get over it together, and then obviously you start feeling this almost like deceptive type vibe when one of them sort of wants to become the leader, and the other one is obviously this hitman in the background who wants to retain loyalty to the company. And it's like, it's really, you can feel it in the air. I'm just like, I don't know about you, like I feel these things. I'm just like, fucking hell, like.
Yeah, for sure. But that's how you know it's such a well-made anime. Like the story is brilliant. You know?
Well, it is brilliant. And when I first watched it as well, like Brandon, sorry, was my favourite character. And I was like,
Brendan Heat.
when he got shot out of the elevator, I was like, I didn't understand what was happening. I was like, what? No!
What are you doing?
It was like the Red Wedding scene. I was like, no!
Stop it, Harry! Stop it! Well, it's true actually. Yeah, it's like a big shock, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I remember
you
thinking
can't
that
do this.
during that completely.
Oh man, could love it.
That's quality.
Love it. Anime.
Gungrave, I love it. And the last one for me that is like a favourite is Death Note. Again, it's
Leto-kun.
one that we grew up with. It's one that we grew up with, but it's just again the story for that is, I think it's probably the best.
Some bits are so hard to watch. Like the one thing that does is really good. It's like it really goes into depth in terms of working out. Like it's almost like chess. They're working out each other's moves and stuff, and they're working out what's happening in the future and stuff. I just really got into it. I was like, this detective stuff is so fucking good.
I think that's probably my favourite bit, was like the constant battle with L and Light.
Some people didn't enjoy it as much after L dies.
Yeah, I mean,
And I can see why, but I still really enjoyed it. I can't have to say, like, with Nier and Mello.
he was a much better character than Mello. I mean, all but fucking Mello done was just sit around eating chocolate. But it's like, I definitely think it still added a lot more to the story, and even L's death kind of it just improved the story.
Yeah,
It just made it that much more important that they had to catch him, kind of thing. And obviously, it ends up his dad's the one who's obviously turns out he's like hunting him down and stuff. It's just,
yeah.
how do you even begin to pitch that as an idea? Oh, someone finds a book and when you write names in it, they die. Like, can you imagine pitching that?
I find it. Do you know the one thing I find really conflicting about that anime is like, even though he's obviously a complete psychopath, like he starts off as a kid and then becomes this killer. I really agree with what he was doing.
Oh yeah, but he starts off just killing the scumbags, doesn't he?
Yeah, like sorting out the planet. I was just like, yeah, like this is what I mean. This is the thing. Like I was sort of rooting for him. And then, obviously, you sort of know that it has to come to a point at the end, because when you start killing innocent people to get what you want, it's a bit different. So I was like, okay. And I love the last two episodes in that. Like, I love the whole thing, but like the way it ends in that warehouse scene when they're all sort of facing off and they're waiting to see who's won the sort of intellectual battle, like who got on top of each other, like who. Like I don't know if you can tell, I'm really passionate in my voice right now. I absolutely love it. Like. Fucking hell, definitely. And then there's a moment in that, like, you know, when they Light recruits that bloke in the background to do all the sort of killing for him.
Yeah.
And I don't remember his name, but he's like a journalist or something. And
yeah, I can't remember his name.
Because he obviously sees himself as God, doesn't he, or God's disciple or something like that. And he's writing all these names, and it comes back to that thing where the pen's mightier than the sword type thing. And he's like, yeah, this is like fucking mental, like, fucking absolutely great anime that.
It's quality. It's quality. All right, so I mean that's my 5. I guess if I had to pick one overall, it probably would be Death Note as a favourite.
Yeah, I like Death Note. I have to admit, I really like Death Note.
What's some of yours then? So some of your favourites. I think I've stolen some of them.
No, I was gonna say like so the other one which I've got into really recently is Attack on Titan.
Yeah, so I've seen the first 2 series of that, and I thought it was incredible. I just haven't finished it.
So it's really bizarre. Like I don't know about you, but when you see like films like John Wick, sometimes it's not even like the killing that's the best bit. It's like the build up. So like when he's getting his new jackets and he's going through like the armory, picking out the weapons and stuff, and all that sort of stuff. And it really does that well. Attack on Titan does that really well, where it does the build up really well. So like even the background to like the lore and why people don't remember things and who's a Titan, who's not, who's the enemy, who's not. It's got itself into a really good place where the people you care about are in between society not wanting them to be there and not wanting to find out secrets, and also them being faced with trying to get the truth through the Titan War. Makes sense. So you've got these groups of people, and there's like, I just find it really interesting. And for me, the combat is so good. Like the
fighting scenes are brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time it's 5, 6, whatever. But then you'll have moments where it ramps it all the way up to 11, and you're just like, fucking hell. Like, and it is like you said, it's brutal. Like, people on horses getting kicked miles by the female titan, getting smashed into trees. It's just like, I'm watching this stuff, I'm like, oh my god, like.
But those titans are actually pretty freaky as well. I don't know about you, but they freak the shit out of me.
I mean, massive, giant, running naked people. Sometimes they've like bones
Smiling.
sticking out of, smiling and stuff, non-verbal, and even like the ones that can't think for themselves. They're just like, it's just really weird. You think of that concept on paper, and the bloke like pitching it, it's like, what? Like, you know. So for me, Attack on Titan, like if you get the chance, mate, season 3 is online somewhere. Like it really goes like the extra mile to make it good. It's like back to season 1
I love
type
what
stuff.
I've seen.
Yeah.
I thought 1 and 2 were amazing.
So season 4's coming out soon, and that's going to be the last season, where it ends where the manga ends as well. So it's none of this like hanging on.
Okay, that's quite good. So is the manga finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other one, like I said earlier, is Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, and 90% of the time, it's quite enjoyable to watch. And there are some filler episodes where it's not, but for me, the fighting in that is like, and it's really popular in America. Like Dragon Ball Z is like really heavily popular over this side of the world as well. It's not just Japan. They have their own Goku Day in Japan, by the way, which is like insane. But in the West, it's like Dragon Ball Z was quite a popular thing. People spoke about Dragon Ball Z quite a lot, probably more so than most animes, I reckon. When you think of Dragon Ball Z, it was probably up there with Naruto as the two most watched.
I would say it's bigger. I genuinely would say it's bigger, mate. I'd probably say it's the biggest kind of cartoon anime in the world.
Yeah.
So I watched. I never really got into it properly because as a kid, I liked it what I saw, but I only saw the odd one. I never really watched it consistently.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of times I tried to watch it regularly and I'd missed a couple episodes, so I didn't know what was going on. And I just dropped it. But what I saw, I really liked, and it's something I want to go back and watch properly.
Yeah, it is
you
really
showed me
good.
some really cool scenes from that.
Yeah, honestly, like, and the movies are still coming out. There was one called Dragon Ball Super Broly, and it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, that is a quality one. And the Resurrection of F, which is like Frieza's one of obviously the main villains, and it has been since the early 80s. So this thing started in 1980. That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and the thing is, they put a lot of money and effort into doing. I mean, you think of Castlevania, right? It's the anime is amazing. Every episode is like high quality, but it's only like 10 episodes. You think they had to do that for Dragon Ball Super week in, week out for like 2 years? It just shows you how many more people are involved in creating this stuff.
Yeah, completely.
Not like the quality is always the same as Castlevania, but when it is, it is. Do you know what I mean? It's like But yeah, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super were really, and they were part of me growing up. I had all the games. I had Dragon Ball Z Budokai, Tenkaichi, Xenoverse, and stuff like that. It just really got to me. I had all the DVDs at one point. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was quality.
Funny enough, like, and that's what I like about anime, actually, just sort of diverting a little bit, is like there are different styles. So like you look at Advent Children compared to Dragon Ball Z, compared to Gungrave, it's like there's different styles of like,
Yeah.
And that's what I really like about it. Like watching Advent Children, that's a good movie for me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's true what you say. Things like Naruto Shippuden looks completely different to the original Naruto,
Yeah.
and some of the graphics in Shippuden look insane. Is that still going on? Because you're up to date, aren't you, on that?
Yeah, like Shippuden finished, I think, probably about 3 years ago, 4
bloody
years
hell.
ago. But I mean, they've sort of tried to hang on to it by doing the movies and stuff. But to be honest, I think it's all done and dusted now.
Because wasn't there another series after that where it focuses on Naruto's kid?
Yeah, so it was like a few episodes. I think it was 10 episodes and then a film.
Okay.
But
Have you seen that?
I've seen the film. It's nothing to shout. I mean, everyone is still attached to that main character, Naruto, or Sasuke, or whoever you like, Kakashi. The thing with that is like, the reason I don't like that as much as Dragon Ball Z is because the episodes in between when stuff happens and stuff doesn't is quite long. It's like
a lot of filler.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't like when. So you imagine they have to get down a valley, for example, right? It can take them 10 episodes to get to the end of the valley, and I don't like that. It's like, fucking hell, like, I want to change it up, like, come across some sort of. I don't know what it is, like, sometimes it just feels like forever to get places. Like, I hate that when the anime drags out. It did that very early on in Dragon Ball Z, but then they stopped it and just ramped it back up. It's not too bad if the content's there, but it wasn't. It was just doing episode after episode until they figured out the story.
I think my favourite character from Naruto that I remember was someone who got killed off quite early on. Zabuza.
Yeah, I remember you liked him.
I remember they brought him back. You telling me they brought him back in Shippuden?
Briefly, yeah. So there's a sort of a moment that happens where there's like a war at the end of Shippuden, and someone manages to resurrect some of the main guys from the early Shippuden episodes and the early Naruto episodes. So you see people like Zabuza, you see people like Kunkuro. So I don't know if you know who that is. He's like bones coming out of him and stuff.
There are a hell of a lot of good anime. There's also a lot of shit as well. There's a lot of crap ones.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like the ones we're talking about are pretty well known compared to the others. Like there's a lot which comes out which I don't even give the time of day to until someone mentions it to me and says, "Have you had a look at this?" I'm like, "Well, not really." So like I'm going to check out that Helsing or Van Helsing or whatever it is anime because my brother said that's quite a good one. But like I wouldn't watch it by myself until someone tells me about it. Like One Punch Man, I can't wait to see season 2. I haven't seen it. It's been out for like half a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not over here, which is annoying.
Halo did one. Halo did an anime.
Was it any good?
So it did 12 episodes, and it didn't go down the route of being a story. It went down the route of every episode is done in a different art style of anime. And
I mean, that's quite cool.
yeah, it was. And there was some. I mean, you're talking about 15, 20-minute episodes of just a story, not around about Master Chief, but around the Covenant and stuff, and some were about the Arbiter. I don't know. It was good. It was alright for what it was, to be honest. It wasn't amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's just like they did it as like a special event. It's called Halo Legends, actually. I think it's probably on Netflix.
If you had to pick one, then what would be your favourite? If you had to pick just one,
My favourite all-time anime. I think
it'd be Gungrave, I reckon, for you.
I think even though I don't watch it enough, I feel like it probably is the best one I've watched. And one of the things it has going for it as well is that it knew when to stop. So they stopped at 21 episodes.
Yeah, it wasn't drawn out, 100%.
You've got like a full story, yeah, and you've got a full story there, and it's not even that particularly like the fight scenes aren't. I mean, they are good when they get towards the end with like necrotization and stuff, but like it's not like it's just the story's good. It doesn't have to be like explosions every 10 seconds. Do you know what I mean? It's like
it's something to keep you engaged. Have you watched Tokyo Ghoul?
So yeah, I've watched season 1, and that was really good. And I like the idea of these hunters that try and go for these ghouls type people. But Tokyo RE or Re after that apparently wasn't that good, but I never watched it.
I don't like the same as you. I watched the first series and then I just can't stop watching it.
But there are loads out there, man.
Full Metal Alchemist.
I haven't watched that, but I see it on Netflix all the time. Ghost in the Shell.
I saw that as a kid. And I don't really remember it too well. I didn't see the remake, like the actual film, because they'd done like a live action remake as well, didn't they?
So I made a mistake with that because I watched the anime and then I watched the film, and it's a like for like. So I feel like I think what they probably were betting on is that there would just be people who didn't have a clue that the anime existed, and it was just for people who had not had a clue. Because, like, honestly, it's like when you pitch a futuristic film with Scarlett Johansson as this assassin, and it's called Ghost in the Shell, they're just going to think it's a cool title. They're not even going to realise there's a cartoon about it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like they're pretty tailored more towards those sort of people rather than the anime people.
Yeah.
Because I watched it, I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen here. And it literally was like that. It happened. I was like, okay, this is a bit shit.
I watched a really, really weird anime. Well, one that made me feel really, really weird. It's called The Garden of Words.
Right.
And it's basically about this. There's this, like, you know, Japan, they got like these beautiful gardens, like all these flowers and the lotus lilies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's this really nice looking garden in like the middle of nowhere, and every single day this little kid goes there. Well, little kid, he's like 15, 16, and his dream is to like make his own shoes, but he's like really depressed, and it never really explains why. But anyway, he's really depressed, and he goes to this garden just to sit and draw designs for shoes. And then this older woman starts coming to the garden, and they just happen to be there at the same time by chance. And they get this really weird relationship. Bear in mind, he's 15, 16. I think he's 15, actually. And she's like late 20s, early 30s. There's this really weird sexual tension throughout the whole thing. And basically about this relationship and these two opening up to each other, and then right near the end, it turns out that they want to bang each other, but she's a teacher at his school, so she has to quit her job and go away. And that's it. So I was watching it and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And there is some weird stuff out there. I mean, it's beautifully drawn, but I tell you what, it's a bloody weird cartoon. And there was some really weird sexual tension with this teacher and this 15-year-old boy.
I literally... This is a coincidence, because I've literally just watched an episode of Louis Theroux about sex offenders. And, and in there is a woman who has sex with a 14-year-old. She is his teacher.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Do you remember that guy at our school that was obsessed with hentai?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other side of this whole thing, innit, really, which is, as they call a subgenre of anime. So there is a darker side. Or is there? Not really. I suppose it's just fucking perverts, but it... I don't know how to describe it, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sensei, eh? Oh, I certainly don't. Oh, God.
fucking losers, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll...
Definitely seeing the odd one. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's not bad, mate. I mean, there's some...
What, hentai?
Yeah, there's some pretty innocent hentai, which is just porn. But then there is some very, very dodgy hentai involving things like tentacles and
They're obsessed with
horns
fish.
and animals. There's some really weird stuff. There's some really, really weird stuff. Stuff that I've embarrassed and that I will never reveal that I've watched out of curiosity. There is some weird stuff.
There was quite a popular one that came out, and it was like more popular than, I think, because it had Samuel Jackson as the main lead voice actor.
Oh, Afro Samurai.
Yeah, and there was a sex
Afro
scene in
Samurai.
that. And and there was a sex scene in that. And I remember I was really into the anime. I was like, okay, let's watch this. You know, Samuel Jackson's
I bet
voice.
you were, you dirty little pervert.
No, I wasn't. And
I love it.
and then this scene came on, and my mind didn't know what to do. Like, part of me was like, oh, you're watching a thing. Like, I was like, oh, okay. And then part of me was like, no, it's a cartoon. Like, and I was just like, my mind was like, what's going on? Like, so I felt a little bit weird watching it. You know,
How old were you? You were 10, weren't you?
Afro Samurai. I think I was about
11.
15. Well, it's not dodgy, is it?
No, that's not. But there is some very dodgy stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, it's like that with
But
everything, isn't it?
each to their own.
But yeah, man. Honestly, the whole thing for me, and there's bits in like Kill Bill, like anime's good.
Oh, that
Yeah.
anime scene's brilliant in Kill Bill.
That's the thing, you know, and it's in there, and that's no one bats an eyelid. There seems to be this sort of like I think there's people who are probably a bit like, why are you watching cartoons for? Which are a bit like, I wouldn't say it's naive, but I'd say it's like...
Oh, no, it is. No, 100%. I would agree with that statement, mate. It is. It's naivety. 100%.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because people instantly see someone watching a cartoon and go, oh, why are you watching a kids program for? Well, hold on a minute. It's not a kids program. Vanessa says it. I mean, it sounds like I'm picking on her. I'm not picking on her. It's just an example, like, because she hasn't sat down and watched an anime.
Yeah.
She would see it and she'd go, oh, I'm watching that. It's a cartoon. Why am I watching that? It's like, well, if you give it a chance and actually watch it, this is an amazing story. But it's I think it's naivety, mate. It's
the thing, because I always say to people, when on the odd occasion when someone says, like, I don't get why I watch cartoons, like, I always refer to like the old Disney cartoons. I say, like, well, do you like the Lion King? Do you like, you know, people like the old Disney films, right? The animated series and stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good
Yeah,
point.
you know what I mean, like Lion King, Hunchback of Notre Dame. You tell me who doesn't like fucking, I don't know, another one.
101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Who didn't like that?
Yeah,
I mean,
completely.
that's why you watch the live action films, because you like the cartoons, and it's no different. It's just made in Japan, and it's made for adults.
That's a really good point.
You know, so when people say, I mean, and in a way, it's no different than watching things like Family Guy or South Park. They are cartoons at the end of the day. It's like,
yes, I mean, I think that anime episode of South Park is so funny.
oh yeah, but it's just
But that episode is quality.
it's just because it's been given a label. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's uncool, I guess, isn't it? It's uncool to watch anime.
That's the thing. I don't care about being cool. That's fucking
No, but
stuff,
it's like that's what people think though. Is like it's not cool to watch that.
yeah, I
but
can't be
watching The
seen.
Simpsons is fine.
Can't be seen to enjoy cartoons, or not even cartoons. Like adult, it's adult stuff. It's just like you know, there are adult films for kids.
Yeah,
you know.
I just think it's a mixture of things. Like it's a little bit of ignorance and naivety to just dismiss it. I mean, if some people don't like cartoons. If you don't like cartoons, then fair enough.
Yeah,
But
giving it
isn't.
all in the same brush is not. Probably.
Yeah, completely agree. I think you're right, mate. That's a good. I never thought of it that way actually. Like comparing it with like Disney films and stuff. Because you're right. I've never thought of that.
For me, it's no different than Family Guy. It's got like it's an adult cartoon. Just one's made in America, one's made in Japan.
Do you like any manga?
No, I hated it.
No.
I absolutely hated manga.
Really?
Couldn't stand it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I tried Naruto. I tried Dragon Ball Z. It sounds just like an excuse. It's funny because I much prefer the idea of writing a book than reading it. And so, honestly, I'm not someone who reads books. Okay, I've read the odd one like Lord of the Flies, Animal Farm, you know, Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl. Yeah.
But I'm not like a bookworm. I can't. I actually really. So I had a bit of a thing when I was a kid. I didn't really. I hated the feel of pages in the book. Like
What?
do you know when you get that feeling in the back of your teeth when you bite on foil, and it's fucking painful.
I've never bit on foil before.
Oh no, do you have a feeling? Sorry. Do you have any feelings?
I know what you mean. It's like when I was a retard and had my lip pierced. I clamped down on my lip piercing once. It fucking hurt really bad.
Well, stuff like that. It's like a shooting pain, right? It's like
I know what you mean.
when I had these books, the pages were really, really rough. And the same feeling you get, you know, those people, it doesn't happen to me, but when you scrape a fork on a plate, that noise, and people like cringe, that cringing feeling is what I got when I felt pages on the book.
Really?
And I couldn't stand it. I fucking hated it. And so I always had to wear like a glove or something. And
Seriously?
yeah, I hated it, and that's why I never read books.
What, even now?
Yeah, I can't do it now unless they're like some of the like encyclopedias are a bit different. They've got really smooth pages, like you can just turn them over. It's almost like plastic. But the actual books with words on, fuck that. I'll edit. Let me reword that. The
Books with words on.
the books like.
Do you know what I fucking hate about books? It's the ones with words on.
Anyway, the pages fucking were awful. So I said no.
See, that's completely fair enough, and I understand. Well, I don't understand, but I understand what you're saying. I just find it so odd that you want to write. I mean, do it, please do it. But I find it odd that you want to write a book, but you don't like reading.
Yeah, I fucking hate reading.
I think you'd be the world's first author who fucking hates reading. So I wrote this book. I haven't read it, but I wrote it. See what you think.
That's the thing. I wouldn't buy my own book.
No, mate, you should do it. You should write. I mean, you sent me a little segment. I thought it was alright, actually. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean, what was that about?
It was about a man that I think gets bored of the world around him and wants to
Yeah.
change it, basically, and he gets that feeling in his head and then makes a pen move or something without touching it. Am I remembering that right?
Something like that, yeah. But he's basically fed up.
Yeah. He's fed up with people telling him that he can't do things.
Yeah. So he tries to force things to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he shits himself.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, to be fair to myself, that was written maybe 5-6 years ago, and I reread it, and I thought it was written really well. You know.
Yeah, it was alright. I'm not saying it, mate. It was alright. Yeah, I thought it was quite good. I thought it was going to be shit. It was actually quite good.
Hertfordshire bestseller.
So this has been Anime with Sam and Tom. I think we're going to try and be a bit more consistent. So this episode should be aired in 2 days, if we can be asked. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.